Hey, everybody. Thanks again for joining us on another live stream today. Super excited for today's new feature announcements. I think this is going to be a big one. Let me know in the comments that you guys can hear and see me okay. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, and give the video a thumbs up if you're excited for today's feature. I see a bunch of people in the comments already. Hey, Gina, Judy calling in from Arizona. Very cool. Got the Dawn from South Carolina. Yes, you're good. Awesome. Cool stuff. Cool. So, yeah, as I said, super excited for today. We have more mock-up automation features to bring to you guys that I'm really excited about. So, give me in the chat, let me know if you guys have used our other mock-up feature. So we had released that. It's just been several months ago now, which that, in my opinion, revolutionized the way that you can create mockups. And what we have coming out today is going to make that even easier. So it's kind of similar in the fact that you are able to completely automate your mockups. So you can create mockup templates and completely automate those. Kind of the problem with the original way that we had the mockup templates set up is depending on the product that you were creating. So if you're doing, something like apparel, it worked great and still does work great. This isn't, replacing that functionality by any means. But the problem was when you got into things like ornaments, if you're doing a full color background, or what else, like journals or candles was another big one. Creating mockups for those were kind of a pain because you would have to create a mask, and then it's, the process to create a mask is, a little bit more advanced and not very easy to create. So that got us thinking of how can we make this process easier, right? So what we've done is taken our Canva integration and essentially applied that now to mockup templates. So if you're using a Canva mockup that uses a frame, and I'll show you what I mean by frame here in a minute in case you're not sure, basically where you can drag and drop your artwork right into the mockup. If that's how you're creating your mockups, you can now import those mockups from Canva directly into AnywherePOD with the frame and everything already set up, and it is going to basically generate a mockup for you exactly how it does in Canva today, except it's going to be automatic. So you still need Canva, you import it, and then from then on, you don't have to manually create mockups anymore. It's just going to automatically work with that Canva frame set up on every product that you create going forward. So super excited for that. So let's jump into it, and I'll start showing you guys kind of how this works. And then, feel free. We'll be taking questions along the way, and in particular at the end, we'll walk through any questions that you guys might have. All right. So let me pull my screen up here. All right. All right, share screen. Okay, cool. So here we are in AnywherePOD. So this is going to work similar to, before I get started on that, I see someone saying, how does this apply with Etsy mockups? So this will work. This will generate mockups for any product that you create in AnywherePOD, right? So when you create the product, it's going to automatically generate that mockup. And then when you publish that product over to Etsy or Shopify or Everbee store, it's going to automatically go over with that product and already be set up for you. So it's the exact same thing that you used to do manually in Canva, but now it's going to be automatic in AnywherePOD. Okay, so we should have the screen up now. So much like the other set of mockups, you first need to create either a product or a product template to create your mockup template on, right? Because it's going to use the artwork and the variant settings that you have on that product to import and to link everything up. So I've got a few products created here that we're going to go through today. I've got an ornament, a candle, and then a woven blanket that we're going to walk through those 3 examples. So starting off with the ornament. First of all, if you already have mockup templates set up, you don't need to worry about making any changes to those. They will work as is, as they are today. That functionality is still there and exists. If you only ever do ornaments with a transparent background, you also don't necessarily need to set it up this way. It's kind of up to you. So you will see now that when we go into add new mockup template, that we're going to be given the choice of either create manually, which is kind of the original way of creating these mockup templates, or we also have the option now to import our mockup directly from Canva. So if I click on import from Canva, it's going to give you a few instructions. We're going to walk through these. It's pretty simple, but we list them here just so if it's been a while, once you create a set of these, you're not going to need to create more until you're ready to add more mockups. So we have the instructions listed here along with a training video that'll kind of walk you through the process as well in case you ever need a refresher. But essentially all we need to do is go to our mockup inside of Canva and add artwork to our mockup. So we need to go ahead and add our artwork to the frame inside of Canva. We just need to make sure then that none of the layers are grouped. And then we need to note down the transparency so we can add that here in AnywherePOD. So it's a pretty simple process. And I think especially after you see it here on a couple of them, you'll see that it's very easy to do. So first thing is we want to get our artwork that we can apply to the mockup in Canva to begin with. Again, this is just going to be in Canva as a placeholder mockup, as placeholder artwork. So we just need the artwork to go into Canva to begin with. So you'll see now on our artwork on the product, you have a handy little download artwork option here. So if we click on that, that is going to download the artwork in the correct size and everything that's then going to match for our generation going forward. So now that I have that downloaded, I can come over to my mockup here in Canva, and I'm just going to bring in that artwork here. So I've got the artwork here. I just need to click and drag it into my frame. Okay, so now it's applied my design to the frame. So from here, the only thing we need to do here inside of Canva is we want to make sure that none of our layers are grouped, which they are not in this case. So you can see if any of these were grouped, there would be a little group icon here on the right, and we would just need to right click and ungroup those layers. So they need to be ungrouped when you do the import. And then the only other thing we want to do is we want to double check our transparency here on our actual design here in Canva, because a lot of these mockups are adjusting the transparency to give a more realistic effect. And depending on how it's set up, depends on what level of transparency you actually want set. So on this particular one, the transparency is set to 80. Okay, so that's all we need to do in Canva. This is now ready to import. So if I come back over here to AnywherePOD and I go to add mockup template and import from Canva, if I click on continue here, it is going to pull up my Canva designs and I can select the mockup that I want to import. So the one I was just editing is this one right here. So I'm just going to click on import mockup. And then we'll give that a second here to import. Is this function turned on for us? It is not yet. It'll be live as soon as we get off the call here. Am I imagining it, or did it sort of change the angle of the art to fit the design? It didn't change the angle in Canva. It just applied it to the frame. Okay, so here we are with our artwork added, already cropped to the frame. This is a transparent background, so it's a little bit harder to see that it actually did the cropping, but you'll see that here in a minute and on our other designs. So as I said, the only other thing we want to do here is match our transparency. So we're going to bring that down to 80%. And then that is going to be set up. So that's all we need to do. So we just imported. Everything else is all set up for us. We don't have to worry about doing any kind of variation linking or pulling in masks or anything like that. It's just all set and ready to go for us. So now if I click on Save Custom Mockup, that's going to save that mockup template to my account for me. And then it's also going to generate the mockup for me on this ornament. And then it's going to be set up to auto generate on any ornaments of the same product, the same ornament, same supplier. Is going to automatically generate those in the future. So as I create new ornaments and new products, I don't ever have to worry about manually creating that mockup again. It's just going to always be there and available for me. So if I come into select mockups over here to custom mockups, you can see we have that custom mockup that I just added, and then our other custom mockup that we already had in our account here. So on this one, you can't really tell that there's a whole lot of a difference yet between the two, right? Because we don't have any kind of background or anything set on this. So if we wanted to come in here and go to add a background to our ornament, if we edit, say this is a design that we're going to have a background color on, maybe we're going to have a color on it like this. So if we go to update product, those that have used the other way of generating mockup templates will know that if you don't add a mask, you're going to end up just with a square image over the top of your product. So if I come in here back to our custom mockups, you'll see this one on the right with the kind of original creation with no mask, where we just have that square image because there's nothing actually cropping it to the circle. But our new version that we imported from Canva is cropping it to the correct shape and adding the shading and everything else that was set up inside of that Canva mockup for us, already set up, ready to go. So we don't have any additional steps to do. It's going to crop it to the right shape. It's going to match exactly what it was inside of Canva, and it's just all going to be there and automatic for us. So that saves tons and tons of time, guys. Like any mockup now that basically is in Canva, you can import into AnywherePOD. Every mockup's created a little bit differently. So we'll get to an example here in a minute where I have to make a little bit of a change in AnywherePOD, but it's still very minor. So it really, really is a huge, huge time saver and cuts out a lot of the manual work. Let's see, has to be a frame. Yeah, so for the Canva import to work, there needs to be the frame set up in Canva. If you're using a Canva mockup that doesn't have a frame, then you should be able to create that mockup just like a normal mockup that you would have done previously, which we have videos that kind of walk through that process. So you create those still as a mockup template, but you wouldn't import from Canva because you don't need to use the frame on it. Do you work with? So we're not integrated with Printful themselves yet, but the majority of Printful's catalog has been added to Printify. So you can still sell a lot of Printful's products through Printify. Let's see here. Okay, I think we'll get to these other ones here in just a minute. I want to walk through a few more examples. And then if I don't answer your questions, we'll have plenty of time to go through some more of those. Okay, so that's our ornament. So the next one that I wanted to take a look at is going to be our candles. So candles are notoriously a bit trickier to create good looking mock-ups for, right? Especially the other way, you really had to have a good mask overlay so it kind of clipped and looked right and had the right shading so it looked like it was kind of wrapping on the candle. But now if you have a mock-up that looks good inside of Canva, you can import that and it's going to look good on any of the mock-ups that you generate in AnywherePOD as well. So much like before, we need to download our artwork that we want to apply as our placeholder. Again, it's just a placeholder inside of Canva. It'll change as we upload new designs. So we need to apply that placeholder inside of Canva. Now, in this case, on this candle, and this is going to be the same thing for blankets, which I have a demo that I want to show you guys on blankets as well. But in this case, this candle comes in 4-ounce and 9-ounce, and your artwork size and proportions are a little bit different between the 4-ounce and the 9-ounce. So if we hover over in this top left, we can see each one and what size it's assigned to. So especially if there's a big difference between the two, sometimes like your label size is going to be different. So in Canva, we're going to want to apply the correct label size, whether it's the 4-ounce or the 9-ounce. And the easiest way to kind of determine, let me pull up that mock-up here. Okay, so here is our candle mock-up. So the easiest way to kind of determine which file size that you want to use is to add them both one at a time. And you can see sometimes the mock-up will specify, hey, this is for a 60 by 80 blanket or a 50 by 60 blanket or whatever the case may be. Sometimes they don't specify and you just kind of have to eyeball it and look. So let me show you what the difference is between the two. So here is the artwork for the 9-ounce. And if I add that to my frame, it looks pretty good. But when I click on it, I can see not a lot, but we're kind of coming outside the edge here quite a bit. So if we remove that and now drop in our 4-ounce. So here's our 4-ounce artwork. And if I double click on that to look at the adjustment, you can see it is right at the edge of the sticker. So it fits perfectly right there. So in this case, we're going to want to go with the 4-ounce artwork for this particular mock-up. This was a mock-up pack. Again, I got off of Etsy, and you can see some of these are lined out differently. So this one's a bit taller. So that's going to be your difference between like the 4-ounce and the 9-ounce. Is some of those are going to be lined out just a little bit differently. So in this case, we've got that 4-ounce on there. So let's come back over here to AnywherePOD, and we will go to Add Mockup Template and Import from Canva. Now, in this case, since there are two different artworks for this product, it's going to ask us to select which one we want to use. If we hover over both of them, we'll be able to see what variants each one is assigned to. As I said, in this case, we're going to be doing the 4-ounce. So we'll select that 4-ounce artwork. And then our mock-up here, we're using page 1. So I'll leave that on page 1 and click on import. And now this is going to import that mock-up from Canva, and it's going to apply that frame to my artwork automatically, and everything should be set up for us. There we go. So here's our artwork and applied to the candle and to the frame. Everything's set there. Our variants are already set. So if I come up here and take a look, you'll see this is already set to use just the 4-ounce candle. So it's always going to select the right artwork for the right candle. For, in this case, amber, this candle comes in clear as well. So if I had separate mockups for clear, I would be able to add those, and it's only going to generate the correct ones for amber or for clear. And all of that is set up for you automatically. So there's no variant adjustments that you need to do on any of these like you used to have to do either. So it makes it very, very easy to get that in. So there's our frame. So the only other thing I didn't do on this one was double check my transparency. So you can see here in Canva, this one is set to 70. So I just need to copy that adjustment over here to AnywherePOD. We lower that down to 70. And there we go. That mockup template is all set. Hit Save Custom Mockup. It's going to create that mockup template. It's going to generate that mockup for this product. And then the coolest thing, I keep saying it, the coolest thing of all is anytime I create a candle now in the future, I don't have to manually create that mockup. It's just going to automatically generate that same custom mockup that's unique to me for every single product that I create going forward. So it makes it super, super easy and super fast to create new products. These work with our rapid lister and bulk uploading and our product templates, the whole 9 yards, just like before. So everything can be automated and streamlined 100%. So I know we have some questions coming in. There's one last mock-up that I wanted to show you guys that is a little bit different that I just kind of wanted to walk through with you, and then we'll get to all of your questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to start jotting those down, and we'll make sure to get to all of them that we can. So if I come back over here to my products, I have a woven blanket here of this kind of forest scene that I have created. Now, the issue with woven blankets, in particular, there's a few products like this, but not many that need this adjustment I'm about to talk about. The reason why this one is often different is that the artwork dimensions that are required by Printify, it has the artwork laid out horizontally, and most of the time the mock-ups that you want to show are going to be vertical. So you have to take that horizontal blanket and make it vertical. So that adds just a little bit of complexity to this mock-up. So I want to kind of show you guys that process and show you still how you can automate that entire thing. So I'm going to download my artwork here. First, I already know that my mock-up that I'm going to be creating is based on the 60 by 50 dimensions. So that is the artwork that I'm going to download. So we'll just hit download artwork on that. And then let me find that Canva mock-up here. All right. So here is the mock-up in Canva. Again, one that was purchased off of Etsy. And what we can do here is just drag in that artwork that we just downloaded from AnywherePOD. And you can see even here, it is horizontal, mock-up is vertical. So it needs to be rotated here. So it is straight up and down. And then we're just going to click and drag that into our frame, and that's going to be set there. So before I jump back over, I'm going to remember this time my transparency is set to 71. Now, what makes this different, especially than the others, is that the rotation settings aren't going to import with that mockup. So we're going to need to do just a couple little changes on that when we create that in AnywherePOD. So if I come in here to add new mockup template, we're going to import from Canva again. And again, we want to make sure we're using our 60 by 50 here. So we're going to select that artwork. In this case, the design that we applied was to page 4. So we'll select import mockup. It's going to take a little bit longer because with blankets, your file dimensions are larger. So it's going to take a minute there to import and crop everything and apply the blanket artwork to the frame and get all of that downloaded and set up and imported into AnywherePOD. So it takes just a minute there to get all that in. See, Brenda was asking about mugs. Yes. So anything that you want to set the frame up for inside of Canva, you can import that into AnywherePOD and everything's going to be set on there for you. All right. So you can see here, it brought in our design, but it did not rotate it. So our size and positioning is going to be a bit off here. Okay. So this is where what we need to do now is rotate this around. So it is vertical again. And to make sure we're at the full 270 here. So it is straight. And then I'm also going to adjust that opacity down to 71. And then we just need to size that so it is positioned right on top of the blanket, just like the original ones. So you can use your keyboard here to kind of fine tune it and get it in the exact position that you need. And there, now that's on there. and looks good and all set up. So you only need to do that the first time when you first import a mockup like that. You just need to make that small adjustment. And now this mockup template is going to be set going forward so that, again, anytime that I create a woven blanket, I'm just going to automatically have this mockup generated and available for us to use on any of our products and available to automatically publish over to our Etsy, Shopify, or Everbee stores. So cool. That's the 3 examples that I wanted to show you guys. That kind of covers those 3 examples. So I know we have several questions here. I'll kind of start going through those. Feel free to start dropping down in the chat if you guys have any questions, and we'll get through all these and hopefully be able to answer all your questions here. So let me scroll back up here to a few that I missed. Okay, what if the artwork doesn't fit correctly on the ornament? Can it be edited in APOD? So that is one of the really nice things about setting these up, especially if you download the artwork like I showed and use that as your sample in Canva. That artwork size is always going to be the exact same for that product, right? So if we jump back over to our ornament, for example. So our ornament here, anytime I create this ornament, so this one is the Swift POD ceramic ornament, the artwork that gets generated for this ornament is always going to be 900 by 900 pixels. So if I create this as a mockup template, even if I create smaller artwork, larger artwork, whatever I upload when I create this product in AnywherePOD, it's always going to generate a 900 by 900 pixel image. And that is what's going to be used in the mockup template. So it's always going to line up correctly and be automated and not be any issues there. On a transparent PNG design, if you want white as a background color, do you need to choose white as your background color in AnywherePOD, like on the ornament? Yes. So if you're doing this ornament and you want the background to be fully white, it's going to just leave it as transparent. So if you want the background to ever actually be white, you would set that as white, and that will actually make the background white. Depending on your mockup, sometimes ornament mockups, if you use a transparent image, look way darker than what they should. So sometimes with ornament designs, you do want to set that background color to white. That will get that so it looks correctly then on the mockup like you expect. Will it work with custom frames or only with default Canva frames? So the frames that you saw me use today were essentially custom frames, right? So like even this one with the ornament, you would think it's just a circle, but it's got the cutout at the top for the circle and the string area and everything there. So yes, it should work for custom frames as well. Hated missing the live. If you missed any of it, you can catch it on replay. It'll be this replay will be available right after this. We also have the training video that just launched going over this feature as well. That's available for you. Is there a way to utilize Canva frames to generate realistic embroidered mockups? I'm sure there are some that probably do it very similar to what the blanket design was that I just showed. I'm sure some of them do a better job than others of being realistic, but if they are set up, likely using a frame, likely using some transparency, they may also add in some like stitching overlay that kind of gives it that effect as well. So you would just need to search Etsy for Canva mockups and then see about setting those up. How is the mockup saved in AnywherePOD artwork? So I created these products first. So I went through the process of just creating and uploading my product like normal inside of AnywherePOD. And then you come here to the mockup template section, and that applies the artwork to your mockup and then saves it as a template so that it's reusable on any mockups going forward. Can you adjust the artwork on the mockup in AnywherePOD if it doesn't come in correctly? So we just kind of covered that. It'll come in with that frame. If you ever need to adjust the like crop portion, like you may need to do that sometimes. I was actually talking about mugs might be a case where you need to do it. There is the option. Let me see if it'll give it to me here. So there is the option right here where it says adjust frame / cropper. If we click on that, that is going to open up our image cropper and you can make adjustments there if you need to. Most of the time, this is not something that you should need to do though. It should just import and work from Canva directly. Let's see here. Of course, I have to reboot and come back in during the very thing I'm waiting for. Blankets. Can't wait to watch the replay. Great. Hope you got to watch it or are watching it now on replay. But it's very similar to the other processes, especially regular blankets are going to essentially be the exact same of what I showed, like with be very similar to like the candles, where it's just a matter of applying the design in Canva and importing it. You won't need to do any of the changes that I had to do, like I did on the woven blanket, because most of your blankets are already set up to be vertically. This is just something that's unique to the woven product. Does it only work with frames or also with PDF layers imported into Canva? I guess it kind of depends on how Canva imports those PDF layers. If you're not using a frame in Canva and you're just adding your design as a layer in Canva, then the easiest way to add that would be using the kind of original mockup method of just adding the image and just setting it up with your layers correctly that way. If you have any issues or need help getting that set up, I'm sure between either this method or our original mockup template method, we'd be able to help you get your mockups automated. So feel free to reach out to our support if you get into that and have any questions. I want to join other producer partner on Anywhere like T-Launch, but I couldn't get the demos. I'll leave this question here. Yeah, I'm not sure what your question is. If you could provide some more information, let me know. We're happy to help. Or as I said, you can reach out to our support and we can help you get connected anywhere that you're having issues. What do you mean every product will use same mockup? So what I mean by this being automated now is we have, for example, this ceramic ornament now from SwiftPOD. Anytime I create this ornament from SwiftPOD, it is going to automatically generate any of the mockup templates that I have created. So let's run through that real quick so you guys can see how it's applying that. So if we come over here to Printify and let's go to Ornaments, and we'll go to page 2. So we're doing the same Swift ornament. We'll go to start designing. And you know what, this time let's do a little clip art here with some watercolor background. And then we'll size this so our watercolor is kind of hanging down over the edge here, right? So you can kind of see how it's going to clip that on the product that we create. And then let's see if I've got I've got a placeholder image here. Let me find it. Where'd you go? Here we go. So we've got our dog here. Normally I'd run this through AI as well. You can convert this to watercolor, put the dog's name above it. All that we've shown this demo before, but that's how I would set that up, is using the AI effects so that the customer's image can get converted to watercolors. And now when we create this product, of course that had a background on it, so I would fine tune that artwork just a little bit. I just wanted to kind of demo the mockup process. So right now it's going to go through and generate not only all of the mockups that are available from the supplier, so we're going to have access to all of our Printify mockups, but then it's also going to generate mockups for us for any of those mockup templates that we created here in AnywherePOD. So if I come over here to my custom mockups, you can see this one on the left was the original one that's created without a mask or a frame or anything. So it's not getting, it's getting those square edges kind of hanging over the ornament. Whereas this was the new one that we just created, and it's actually confined to the ornament and is cropped and shaped and looks correct. So that mockup now is automatically available for us going forward on any products that we create for that ornament. All right. Can you explain the ornament and how you added the background color, assuming we can change the background color as needed for different products? So really just what, I mean, it's kind of what I just went through here. The background color that I added on the other one was to the artwork, right? So you set all of that up on your artwork, and then all of that carries over and is automatically added on the mockup for you automatically. So if you're doing background colors, no background colors, different ones, in this case, I've got some watercolor clip art that the customer can select from, all that sort of stuff. It's going to generate those mockups for you automatically, and it's going to match whatever you set up and design on your artwork. How does this affect personalization? It doesn't at all. This is only in regards to the mockups that get generated. So think of this like having instant access to any of your own custom mockups, right? So if you're using your own mockups that you're having to go generate every single time in Canva, instead of doing that, add them to AnywherePOD, and then they're automatically available for you. So you essentially get your own custom mockups right along with all of the mockups that are available from Printify. So you can pick and choose which ones you want, and those are just, it's just automatically there for you. You don't have to do any additional work to get those mockups added then. Hi, Chris. I've been using this technique for a long time. Could you also show how to change the blanket color using the same method without creating separate color variants? Not sure I follow what you mean. Like the best way to do that, to add different background colors would be either as clip art or create a separate color variant that the customer can just select right from the drop down in Etsy. It's one of the beauties with AnywherePOD is you can do any variations like that on a listing that you want. So if you want multiple different background colors the customer can choose from, you can add all those to the listing, add them as a variant, and right from the just regular variant drop-down list in Etsy, the customer is able to make their selection on which mockup they want, or sorry, on which color they want. Could you show an example with a mug? So I don't have a mug mockup template handy at the moment, but it'd be the exact same process that I just showed for candles, for example. It's just going to all depend on how your mug mockup is set up. So this has to be Canva. What if I get a Photoshop mockup from random source? Can I set that Photoshop file as my default mockup file and skip all the download, upload steps? So the process I just showed was importing from Canva. You can also set up mockup templates just by uploading a PNG file, right? So for example, so this would have been the feature that we released. Let me remove the color here from this so you can see what it's going to look like a bit better. This is going to be the automatic mockup process that we've had now for a little while, where you can upload any files, blank background, or a mask that acts as like an overlay over the top. So if you have Photoshop files that are set up where it is, it's not doing a lot of like aspect ratio changes or where perspective changes, I guess I would say, you can set those up to be automatic as well without having to, like you said, manually create those and go through all the manual download and upload steps. So if I come in here to create manually, I can upload a blank mockup. And let's just see here, for example. So here is a blank ornament. I can set any of my colors or sizes that are specific to that if I need to. And then when I add my artwork here to it, then that's another way to make those automatic. So if I wanted this to actually clip to shape, that's where you'd have to have the mask. And that's the benefit of using mockups from Canva. And if you're purchasing your own mockups, most of the time they come, if they're coming with a Photoshop file, they're also coming with Canva mockups, because so many people use Canva for their mockups now that, especially something like this where you need it to clip, it's going to be a lot easier to import from Canva. But there are other options to be able to add these mockup templates to your account. Did I hear correctly earlier that APOD is integrated with Everbee Store? So, because I'm bad at keeping secrets, I will say that integration is nearly live. Like, it's approved. Everything's set to go live. So if it's not live today, you will be seeing that in your accounts. It should be either today or tomorrow that you should start seeing that in your accounts. And that will be live, and we'll be doing some more training and information on that in the coming weeks as well. Can we still include personalization? Absolutely. This has no effect on personalization at all. This is only for mockups, does not affect anything that you're doing with personalization in any way. Are Usha's PSD mockups able to be automated? Unfortunately, they can't be completely automated, partly because most of the time when you're showing a bedding set, it's not just a front straight-on view, because that wouldn't be very appealing of a bedding set. So a lot of those have more of a perspective change. And then also, since those are sets, it's also usually multiple artwork files that are needed to be added to it, and they're not set up as Canva mockups either. So those, unfortunately, the best way for most of those. Now, if you're doing one of their like single products, like they're just their blanket, you could certainly add that as a mockup template. If I create a mockup for ornaments, but after it imports to a new product, can I adjust the size of the artwork on a specific product? Mockup is generated, but want to make art adjust. Yeah. So on any product you create, you can always come in here, click on edit artwork, and change artwork however you want. That is always an option. Let's see. Patty said, off the subject, but could you show how to do a bulk import of designs and how many can be done at once? So there's not a hard limit. I generally recommend, not trying to do more than 20 or 30 or so at a time, just because it gets harder to kind of keep track of there. So I can talk through that quickly on what that looks like. But then we do have several other videos. In particular, if you watch the ultimate workflow, I think is what it's called. It was part of our AnywherePOD live series that goes into detail on how the kind of bulk upload rapid lister works. And then also check out last week's, actually this might even be better, check out last week's live stream. I think that was last week. We did the product templates, and we kind of walked through a rapid lister example there as well. But essentially all you need to do is come into the rapid lister and upload your files here. So here's a few other ornaments here. That is going to show you the images and the titles. You can use the AI here to generate your title tags and descriptions. And once I have all this set and click on submit, it is going to create a new product with my title tags, descriptions, with all of my mockups, with everything complete. All of my attributes that I have set in Etsy are going to carry over to every single product. So in just a couple clicks, you can go from design to completed listing, ready to start selling 20, 30 products in just a couple clicks. So it is a very, very fast way to create new products. I just opened an Everbee store. That is great news. Looking forward to it. Very cool. Excited to bring that to you guys as well. All right, everybody. Any other questions? Happy to answer anything else that you guys might have, again, related to mockups or other things as well, we're happy to answer anything you might have a question on. All right, if we remove any of our existing mockups and reload again with Canva mockups, will that affect our listings? So number one, if you already have mockup templates set up, I would not worry about if they're working correctly. I would not mess with them. There's no reason to remove them and add from Canva unless they're not set up with a mask and you need that now. Then you can do that. When you delete a mockup template from AnywherePOD, it's not going to affect any mockups on listings that have already been generated. So it's not going to like go through and delete all of your mockups or anything like that. So no, it will not affect anything with your existing listings. If you add a mockup template and you want that to generate, you want that new mockup to generate for some of your products, all you need to do is go to the product, come down to the artwork, click on edit, and then click on update product down here at the bottom. And that will generate any new mockups that you have added that are available for that product. It'll regenerate those for you. So those will be available to use. So that's a way that you can get them added to previously existing ones if you need to. Okay, if we have products we fulfill in-house, can we download the final customized file ourselves? Yes, you can. So there's a few different ways that you can do that. The easiest method, if you're fulfilling products yourself, is you can actually create the product using a product in our product catalog, and then we can turn on an option for you to mark that product to not be fulfilled. What that will do is allow the order to still import to AnywherePOD, all of the personalization and personalization images to still generate for you. But when you release the hold on that order, it'll just mark it as complete. So then you can download the artwork and complete your production and shipping process like normal. So if that's something you're interested in, reach out to our support and we can help get that set up on your account for you. How long does it normally take to get approved by DecoPlate? Applied last week. No response as of today. So normally they're pretty quick, like within a day or two. I would make sure that you double check that you submitted it correctly with the correct email and that you selected AnywherePOD from the drop-down list of how you're going to be submitting your orders. Because if they're coming through AnywherePOD, they basically automatically approve accounts for AnywherePOD customers because they know how much that we work with our customers to make sure everything's correct. So it takes some of the load off of them. So they, if you didn't select AnywherePOD, you may not get approved. Also, double check your spam or junk folders. If it's been that long, I'm surprised that they wouldn't have replied to you yet. So you can double check your, like I say, your spam or junk as well to make sure it's not there. Never heard of you guys before or this software until about an hour ago. Cool. Thankful this showed up randomly on my Facebook feed. It seems like you guys have a pretty dialed in system and genuinely care. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. I mean, obviously I would agree. We care greatly. We have, I mean, this was, quite the intro. This is just one of the things that we do. We also have tons of other automation, a lot of which actually you've heard or people ask about personalization. A lot of stuff you can do with personalization. We're really kind of your one-stop hub for print on demand. So you're able to kind of manage everything in one place, be able to automate 90% of the listing creation process, automate mockups, automate personalization. Some really cool stuff you can do with AI on personalization. So cool stuff. Excited that you're able to join us. And yeah, I'm glad that popped up on your Facebook feed as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our support. You can sign up at anywherepod.com. There's a little sign up link in the top right. And yeah, don't hesitate to reach out. We pride ourselves in the level of customer service that we give. So if you have any questions, reach out. We're more than happy to help anytime. How to delete custom mockup. So you can delete your mockup template over here on the left by selecting delete over here. If you need to remove mockups from a specific product, when you come in here to select mockups, there's also the delete button there in the corner that will delete the actual mockup itself from a product, or you can just uncheck it and ignore it. It's not necessarily going to hurt it being there either. Patty says, been working with Chris for about 10 years. He's the real deal. Yeah, Patty and I go way, way back. That was 10. Yeah, actually probably getting close to being over 10 years. She goes, we've known each other for quite a while. Thanks for the kind words, David. Much appreciated. And to clarify, when I say Patty and I go way back, that's from days prior to when AnywherePOD was just a thought in my head, I guess you could say, way before AnywherePOD was even around. Since you have Usha's ear, can you try to convince them to provide more mockups? I love their products. Every time I talk to them, I tell them their biggest downfall is their mockups. So yes, we do have that conversation pretty regularly, that more mockups and mockups that are easier to create are very important in this industry. So they know it, they hear you. I know they've expanded on the mockups that they offer quite a bit since we first started working with them. So if you haven't checked it out lately, go to your Usha account and you can download all of their or see a list of all of their PSD mockups. Maybe there's some new stuff in there that you haven't seen recently as well. So that would be my recommendation. Need a vertical version of woven blankets with MWW. So you have to design them horizontally, but if you watch the kind of demo that we just did, whether it's from Printify or MWW, it kind of works the same way, where the design is vertical. So you do have to rotate your design when you're doing the designing, which is kind of a pain. But now with the mockup templates, you can automate your mockups in the vertical format. So you can do that rotation and still get the correct orientation mockups for your stores. So that will work for those. What about live previews? Yeah, so you can add a live preview that's vertical as well. So you can rotate images when you're in the live preview. So if you create a live preview and then rotate it, it will be in the right direction. Alrighty. I think that looks like everybody's questions. So thanks so much for joining us today. You guys will have access to this new mockup feature in the next couple of minutes. Jump in there, give it a try. If you guys have any questions, always feel free to reach out. We're more than happy to help anytime. And I hope you guys are having an awesome Q4. I can't believe it's already the middle of November. The year is flying by faster than I would like it to. So I hope you guys are having a great Q4 and I hope to talk to everybody soon. Alrighty. Thanks, everybody. Take care.